Ladies and gentlemen, as promised, one of the coldest point guards I've ever seen do it. Joins One Mike with Big Mike right now. He is a former NBA All-Star, second overall pick of the New Jersey Nets in 1991. Big-time college point guard. Kenny, I'm telling you, this is not just because you're here with me. I tell people all the time, I got 3 point guards who I feel like are the coldest to ever play in my generation, college basketball. No particular order is you, Chris Jackson, well, now Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, and Jason Kidd, period. You can find him on Twitter and Instagram at Chibbs, CHIBBS_1, Twitter and Instagram. Also, Chibbs.com. You can get some Mr. Chibbs gear. I'm going to go on there and check me out, a beanie, or Scully, as we call him down here in the A. Also, he's got a documentary, Mr. Chibbs, directed by Jill Campbell. Where's that nickname come from? That's your nickname, Mr. Chibbs. Where's the nickname Mr. Chibbs come from?
Yeah, that's very dear to me, man. My mother named me that when I was like 5 days old. You know, when she had me, and then they bring the baby in the room. They brought me in the room. Her mouth was full. She was eating. She said, "Look, cheeks, Chibbs." It came out cheeks, and then she said Chibbs, and it just stuck. And my neighborhood friends and family called me Chibbs. And then when I knew my name was Kenneth when she registered me for kindergarten. I didn't know my name was Kenneth until kindergarten, and it was there. And then Mr. Chibbs is when I did something great, she was like proud of me, and she used to be like, "Oh, look at Mr. Chibbs, he's doing his thing, Mr. Chibbs." So I just took it, and I said, you know what, when I do my life story, my documentary, I'm gonna name it Mr. Chibbs.
Now, before we get into that, I see you on Instagram. You're a big Cowboys fan. Cowboys got a big victory without Tony Romo yesterday. My man, that was bad football. I mean, are you as a fan happy about what you saw last night?
No, I'm not excited at all. With my season this year, my Cowboys was just terrible. But we had a lot of injuries, a lot of misfortunes, and we just, that whole division is terrible. The Eagles, the Redskins, the Giants, everybody. But if we was healthy throughout the season, we would have ran through that division. But no, it's my season has been, my football season has been nothing but not nice at all, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's a New York City basketball Hall of Famer. He is Kenny Anderson. Got his documentary, Mr. Chibbs. Is it already out, Kenny, or is it about to come out?
No, it's about to come out in about 8 months. You got my director's doing a hell of a job, Jill Campbell. I got a big-time investor, good business partner and friend, Barry Greenstein, and then Skyscraper Film, small company out of New York. Got to give them love because they believed in my life story, and they invested in me. I just got a great team, and I love them. And Jill is doing a hell of a job with the story. It's very inspirational. It's not just basketball. It's getting to know Kenny Anderson. I was a child prodigy coming out of New York. Then got recruited to go to Georgia Tech. Signed with Atlanta. Just a lot of. It's going to be just. It's very inspirational. It's very great message for the youth out there, even for the adults. All the things I had to overcome.
Was that the motivation behind it for kids coming up behind you? Because you've lived quite the life, my man. Was your motivation for the documentary to kind of just help what we say, throw the rope back over the wall? You made it now to help people who are coming up behind you.
Oh, absolutely, and it's the fad. Everybody's doing documentaries, so it was brought to me. I said, why not? I think my story needs to be told, and just to help. The youth, I guess when it comes out, I'm definitely going to speak at my alma mater, Georgia Tech. I want the team to see it. I want the alumni to see it. And, Georgia Tech means the world to me. It was a great 2 years there. I love Coach Quinn. I love Dennis Scott, Ron Oliver, my team. It just was awesome, So it's just a great message to give to the kids.
Now, talking about the life that you led, from where you've come from, some of the things that you've gone through, what would you say, if any, is your biggest regret in life or in basketball?
Well, my biggest regret is I didn't get help. When I got molested, I held it in for like 30-something years. It came out, and I think it affected me. My actions. How I led my life. That's the only regret. All the other things, maybe not listening to my mother and not getting married, my first marriage when I was 23, 24 years old. I always listened to my mother, and I did that time, and I should have. But, I don't have, life lessons it's not regrets. It's just always, you're always learning.
Exactly.
I couldn't be that person. I couldn't be here now doing what I'm doing if I didn't make those mistakes and go down that road. So I don't, that only one thing I regret is that, being molested and holding it inside. I think it affected me emotional a great deal as I got older in adulthood.
You're listening to One Mic with Big Mike. I am Big Mike, speaking right now with former college basketball great out of Georgia Tech, Kenny Anderson. He's at Chibbs, CHIBBS_1 on Twitter and Instagram. Also check out his line of Scullies and products that he's selling at Chibbs.com. He's got a documentary coming out, Mr. Chibbs, directed by Jill Campbell. Now, you do work with kids, right? Now, the kids now, do they, of course they know who Kenny Anderson is, but do they have an appreciation for how cold of a dude you were with the Rock, cuz?
I don't know if they do, but that's what's great about my documentary. They're going to see it. They're going to understand it a little bit more. You got YouTube. You got all these avenues or social media that they can see, the past history of basketball. So that's the good thing. You know what I mean? I have 8 kids, and they all older. So most of them didn't watch me play in the league. They caught me when I was on my way out. So they got to YouTube me and see some of my footage. And my daughters, they like, wow, Dad, we didn't know you was that good.
Right.
So it's very interesting. But I understand it. The generation, they're young, and I'm a little bit older, so I just try to do a lot of different things, like camps, clinics, motivational speaking, and staying relevant. You got to stay relevant. And I think the kids are the ones that you need to hit and get their attention.
Speaking of relevance, you played basketball a long time, a high school, like you said, a phenom early. But if not for basketball, what would we know Kenny Anderson for right now? Like, did you have other aspirations other than basketball coming up?
I don't know, man. I get a little bit emotional when I get, like that's interesting. You know what I mean? I don't know. I might be running around the streets in left rack with some not good dudes, doing drugs. I don't know, because the way I came up in basketball, that's what saved me. That's what I inducted my whole life around. I didn't fail school. I didn't do anything wrong because of basketball. Now, if it wasn't in my life, I don't know. I might have went the opposite way. I would have went left. You know what I mean? So basketball meant the world to me. And like I always said, and follow me on Twitter, basketball was my hustle to just take care of my mother. That was my motivation. I kept seeing my mother struggle. I didn't really care about anything else. I said, I need to take care of my mother, and basketball is going to be the tool. And whatever try to come between that, I'm dead in it. I'm not letting it get between that.
Right.
And I was able to do that. And everything else that came with it, the fame, the money, all that was a bonus. I really didn't care about that. I just wanted to see my mother have a carefree life before she leaves. And I was able to do that for 20 years. She enjoyed her life.
Something else you've been very forthright with as far as speaking out on is what happens when a young kid goes from the inner city and immediately, goes to college, and then he gets into professional sports, and then all of a sudden life changes immediately. Now, Forbes estimated that you made about $63 million in your career, your basketball career. Explain to my audience how someone goes from $63 million to bankruptcy, exactly how easy it is to do that when you don't have a map in front of you telling you how to navigate through that part of your life.
Yeah. Well, first of all, you're just spinning, wildly. You're helping others. I have a big heart. I talk about that on my documentary about financial literacy. And then you got to understand, I have money. Bankruptcy is not like you broke.
Please believe.
All people do it. And I'm not going to tell you what I was doing for the bankruptcy, but everybody knows you hide money that way,
right.
Different things. So you're broke. Everybody broke is not the same. You know what I mean? So bankruptcy, sometimes you have to do it to get, to start over cleanly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you got jealousy, you got envy when you grow up in certain inner city in the project. Some of those people, they act like they want you to do well, but they don't. They want to see you fail. So the only thing, you got to have a great team in your corner. And I did have that. I had a great lawyer, Erwin Levy. I love him. He's been there for me since I was 17, 18. Dick Gilbert was a long-time family member. He took care of me in college. I love him. You know what I mean? Benson Smith, my mentor, he's been there. Pierre Turner. I got guys that's still in my corner after everything I've been through. And that's what the documentary is going to bring out. That, I did this, I did that, but after all, I'm down here in Florida, got a nice home, my kids are doing well, I'm able to live a productive life, and I'm getting better. I'm trying to figure it out. So I'm all right. I'm in a good state right now.
My man.
State of mind.
And I think we all are. I think if you live to be 110 years old, you still be trying to figure it out at 110. So it is what it is. You feel me?
Let
me ask you this. You talk about, we just got through talking about some of the trials and tribulations you go through as a young man trying to become a man. At the time when you were drafted in 91, you were the youngest player drafted at that point. Have you been paying attention to what's going on in Philadelphia, or what had been going on with Jahlil Okafor? Him spending 1 year in college, now being with a kid that's never lost. Now he's in Philadelphia, where it almost seems like the goal is to lose, and now he's finding himself in some troubles. If I don't know if you have, but if you had a chance to sit down with this kid, what would be your message to him as far as?
That's what I'm trying to do. I will, after my documentary come out. I want to mentor some of these young pros that's coming in the league. Sit them down and tell them, the do's and don'ts and life lessons. And I was the youngest guy in the league at my time. I was from the metropolitan area, and I got drafted right into my neighborhood somewhat. You know what I mean? And we lost. We was mediocre. We was like 500, but I didn't play as the number 2 pick. There was times I was depressed. All type of stuff I was hearing, through the media. And you got to be strong-willed, and you got to be able to have thick skin. And I don't think he's there yet. And we can go with the excuse of being young, but after a while that dies out.
Right.
Then you got to figure it out. You know what I mean? And by him fighting, and he might have anger management problems. He might have had that in Duke in high school, and nobody knew. They threw it under the rug. So he might have to get professional help, maybe, as far as with a psychiatrist or. And I'm not saying psychiatrist is bad, because I go to one once twice a week. Sometimes you need the help to talk to somebody that don't have a hidden agenda. You can't talk to your family, your friends, and all that. They sometimes use that against you. So sometimes, getting outside help is good for you. But I think he'll get it together. But, him being on a Philadelphia 76ers with no other veterans, just all bunch of young players making a little bit of money, that's crazy. And they losing every game. It could be crazy. I wonder how that locker room is. I wonder about that, because I know how losing locker rooms could be.
Wow. He's Mr. Chibbs, a.k.a. Kenny Anderson. On Twitter, he's at Chibbs_1. Check out his website, Chibbs.com. And on the documentary, soon to be released, Mr. Chibbs, directed by Jill Campbell. Yeah. Check this out. You had some comments about the NBA age restriction. Would you share that with us, how you feel about the one-and-dones or the straight-from-high schools, or them increasing the age limit on kids coming out of college?
Yeah, I it's a catch-22 situation. I left 2 years. I think if you think you're big bad and you're good enough and you're talented enough from high school, leave from high school. But if you commit yourself to a college, I think they should own your rights. You know what I'm saying? For like 2 to 3 years. I'm not sure if it's 2 or 3, which is definitely maybe 3. But I think from high school, if you put your name in the draft, then you do that. But once you commit to a school, I think that you should commit for 2, 3 years.
But what would you say to a kid that's not able to do that? Like Anthony Davis, a kid who grew like a foot in a summer, and from his high school to his freshman year in college became an absolute monster. Like his development happened at that time. He couldn't go from high school to college. But after his first year, it was pretty much no sense in him playing with children anymore. What would you say to that kid?
I would say the same, man. I understand the struggles. In the city, you need the money to take care of your family. It's your dream. It ain't going nowhere within a year. You take an insurance policy out, and bottom line, all this nonsense, I'm going to be real. If you're so talented, we know you got handlers. You know you all right for 12 months. They are taking care of you and your family. They giving you money. So come on. They see the talent. So they're going to take care of you for 12 months or a year so you can get better at just different things, just growing. I think college is good for social, interacting and the coach, and giving you more positive influence in life after basketball. Because once you get into the NBA, it's just boom, it's a business. Now you got to win. Now you got to take care of yourself. You got money. You got all stuff coming at you from different angles. I just think, a lot of that stuff is nonsense with the one and done. They're rushing, which is fine, if that's what you want to do. But you're all right. You're all right for 12 months because I guarantee you that some firm, some lawyer, somebody agent is taking care of you because they see the benefit.
Speaking of guys going straight from high school to the pros, Kobe Bryant announced that he will be retiring after 20 seasons this year. You played against Kobe Bryant. You got any stories that you can share with me about, either on the court, off the court stuff as it relates to Kobe?
I respect Kobe game, but I was never Kobe. Like, I don't know Kobe. I don't. There's a lot of people lead played against. I just after the game, good game, shake your hand, boom, and move on. I don't know him personally, but I do gain respect for him, and I started gaining more respect for him when he was up for that rape case in Denver. He was flying back and forth, and he could have been thrown in jail for so many years, and he kept his focus, and he was killing people that whole week or two in the league. And I was like, wow, this guy is strong mentally. This guy is on a different level mentally. So that's what I gain respect for him, but I don't know him like that.
Absolutely. The day after a professional athlete hangs it up, what are they in store for? What was your situation that next day or the next time that you were supposed to be dealing in basketball or dealing with what you dealt with for the past 15, 20 years of your life? What is it after? What is it like after you hang it up?
Yeah, they should have a life coach set up for you in the league when you retire because a lot of guys don't have no more structure. When you're in the league, you got structure. When I hung it up, I was like 2 years. 2005 is when I retired. That's the worry of my life. I wouldn't want to live 2005 over again if somebody paid me. I lost my mother. I had all different legal issues after that coming at me. I didn't know what to do. I was like very depressed. I was in a dark place. And I got it together. I got help and I got it together. But it can be very depressing if you don't set your life up about 2-3 years before you're about to retire, because the door is not easily open no more once you leave. When you're in, the door is open. When you leave, they put a couple more locks and pads on the door. You can't easily walk in there. So you gotta get your life ready before you retire. Me, I didn't win no championships. I think I had a great solid career. But some guys are just, it's a blessing that they are. Some guys just somehow get right in because of their connection. They build bridges. They built relationships when they was in the league. Mm-hmm. They was able to get taken care. I was a loner. I really, stayed to myself.
Wrapping up right now with former college basketball great out of Georgia Tech, Kenny Anderson, one of the coldest, I told him earlier, one of the 3 coldest college point guards that I've ever seen in my lifetime. I'm 38 years old, so in my lifetime, it's what it was. He's the 2nd overall pick for the New Jersey Nets. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, or kids, the New Jersey Nets. They were in Jersey before Brooklyn. In 1991, had a nice 15-year career in the league. He's in the New York City Basketball Hall of Fame. You can find him on Twitter and Instagram at CHIBBS_1. You can check out his website. We'll talk about that here in just a second. Chibbs.com, and his brand new documentary, soon to be released, Mr. Chibbs, directed by one Jill Campbell. Point guards. Steph Curry, is he the best player in the NBA right now?
Yeah, he's the best player in the NBA. Pound for pound, he's the best player in the NBA. My favorite player is LeBron James. I love him. But sometimes you just got to edge. He's the best player. His team is 22-0. He's doing it and you know what makes him so special? And I think that's what makes, little like guys like my size special, where these kids got hope outside now. These kids in the inner city that playing ball at 6'2", 180 pounds. Like, yo, this guy, he's doing it.
Yeah.
I can be that guy. I'm not going to grow to 6'6" or 7 feet tall. So he's giving guys hope out there. And he's playing with so much flair and charisma, and he's entertaining. He's a great shooter, but more effectively is his ball handling. So he can get anywhere on the court because he's with his ball handling. Basketball IQ is off the charts. And he's a great kid. It was amazing because I played with his father in Charlotte, and he was the ball boy. I remember him being the ball boy, and now I see this guy grown into maybe he's on his way probably to a 2-time MVP and maybe another championship. So he's a great guy. He's a great kid.
Now you're a dude that had that ball on the string too, man. Now when you see this dude, does he amaze you? A dude that can do what you did, does he even amaze you?
Yeah, he amazes me. Because he can shoot. I can't shoot. I couldn't shoot that far like him. And, I was a streaky shooter, mid-range game. He can shoot. But he does it, man. He's amazing. He's amazing. I can't believe it. Like, when he shoot, I think every shot going to go in. When he miss,
Right.
I'll be like,
right.
I'll be like, yo,
you surprised.
Yeah. When he get into his rhythm, it's over. And then they got Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. And they got the small ball down to a science.
Yeah.
Like, the way they play is like, man, I'll pay to go see them play. It's exciting.
Absolutely. He's must-see TV. One more question about this kid, because you're a basketball historian, man. I've seen you sitting down with Nate Archibald, guys like that.
Yeah.
Have you seen another guy play the way, like a guy who can handle the ball and, as you mentioned, can still get his shot off anywhere he wants to and can shoot it from so damn deep?
You know who he is, and I didn't see him, but I saw some tape. He's Pete Maravich.
See, I've heard that. I've heard that too.
That's who he is. That's who he is. And I don't, and that's who he is, probably. It's because the way he handles, he got the ball on the string, and like I always tell him, you make guys, the defenders is his puppet. Like they puppet.
Right.
He's in control, and that's how you got to handle when the defender is like a puppet.
Let me throw a name at you. A name that I mentioned earlier. A guy who got it done off the dribble with a nice shot. Chris Jackson. Do you see any similarities there?
Yeah, a little bit, but he was smaller. He was more like a scorer, though.
Yeah.
Chris Jackson more like a scorer. Which is Steph Curry, but Steph Curry passed the ball, I think, a little better than he. A little bit taller. I had the fortune to play against Chris Jackson. We beat him in the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia Tech, we beat LSU, but he got the jumper. The jumper's not, he's close to it. But I think Stephen Curry edged him out.
Tell me about Chibbs.com. Tell me about your website, man.
Oh, man, MrChibbs.com. You can follow me, everything. Go on there. We got different style beanies. We have water bottles. We're going to come. The T-shirts are coming. The hoodies. Think about putting some shorts on it. Like, all my product, man. The Mr. Chibbs documentary, Kenny Anderson stuff is coming. So, and if you want to keep up with the doc when it's coming out, all you got to do is from time to time just hit on MrChibbs.com, and we'll keep you posted. When the documentary is coming out and everything that I'm doing. You know what I mean? And that's big, man. So I'm really excited about my documentary, my story. I want to thank Jill Campbell's a hell of a director. Skyscraper Film, Mike and John, my guy Jay Bernetti brought it all together. He connected me with Skyscraper Film, and we signed Jill to do the project. And then Barry Goldstein is like my guy, man. He's a big time investor. I love him, and the family that I got right now is they all in my corner. So I think the project is going to be awesome.
It's a beautiful thing. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, he is former college basketball great out of Georgia Tech, Kenny Anderson. He's the second overall pick in 1991 by the New Jersey Nets. Had a 15-year career, All-Star appearance in 1994. He's in the New York City Basketball Hall of Fame. Make sure you check him out. Follow him just like I do on Twitter and Instagram at Chibbs, CHIBBS_1. Make sure you cop some of those beanies and water bottles, and when those hoodies get, I'm gonna go get me a skull cap, dog, a Mr. Chibbs skull cap.
Yo, they nice, man. Keep that. It's gonna be like, that's a history thing to keep forever, man.
Absolutely.
It's gonna be nice.
Absolutely. And
that's
then
not gonna be it, man.
Make sure you stay up on the documentary as well, Mr. Chibbs, CHIBBS, directed by Jill Scott. I'm looking forward to it, and you guys should too. Kenny, appreciate you taking the time out. It's an honor, my man, and I appreciate you taking the time out to talk to me. And good luck to you going forward, my man.
All right, thank you. Good job, Mike. Good job. Hell of an interview. Thank you.